I'm gonna tell you a secret. If you wanna lose weight, you can eat all the Oreos you want, drink all the wine you want for 1 day a year. Just kidding, don't do that. That's a terrible way to lose weight. But, you know, it's a good way. I am gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you 5 tips today to help you lose weight on a plant-based lifestyle. And this can mean vegan, or it can be mostly plant-based or partly plant-based, whatever works for you and whatever you are doing right now. So a quick intro before we get into it. My name is Nicole Brewers, nutritionist and herbalist with Dance to the Beat. And I have worked with a lot of clients who are either fully plant-based, transitioning into plant-based, or just want to be mostly plant-based like myself. And let me tell you that if you're looking to lose weight or just feel healthier, only cutting out animal products may not get you the results you want. But the good news is, if you follow the 5 tips that I'm gonna go over in this video, you will get results. So if that is something that you are excited about, click the little thumbs up below the video to let me know. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 1, you do not need to count calories, but you do need to have an idea of what your plate should look like. And when I say this, let's think of a really easy visual guide, because I don't believe in doing math while we eat. So if you just look at your plate and you think you want at least half of that plate to be vegetables, and a fourth of that plate to be protein, and then the other quarter of that plate to be a healthy carbohydrate. And then healthy fats you kind of want to use as a condiment or sprinkled in. So let me break that down a little bit further. When we talk about vegetables, just eat all kinds of vegetables. You definitely want some leafy greens, get some carrots and some orange vegetables or beets, you know, the good root vegetables. Make sure you're getting some of the cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, things like that. Just eat a variety of different types of vegetables and you'll be good. And you're not gonna eat too many of these if you wanna fill up more than half your plate, because these are are gonna give you fiber. Fiber is so important for your digestion. It's gonna help fill you up. And honestly, the vegetables are pretty low in calories, so you're not gonna rack up like too many calories doing it this way, even if you're not counting calories. So that's the vegetable portion of your plate, right? So then let's talk about the protein portion. That should be about a quarter. If you're doing mostly plant-based, then I actually have a really awesome guide on this, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. There's beans and seeds and certain types of soy and some other things, lots of different plant proteins. Look at the link below this video. There is a full guide for free just for you. Check that out. It'll cover all your protein needs, tell you how much you need, all that good stuff. So that's protein, a quarter of your plate. And then the other quarter of your plate, some healthy carbohydrates. So this is where starchy vegetables like potatoes or sweet potatoes would come in, or whole grains. And I don't mean whole grain processed flour. I mean whole grains like oats or quinoa, or, you know, farro if you tolerate wheat, or things like that, you know, in their natural state, whole plants, right? So, you know, obviously not all grains and not all these things work for everybody, but find the ones that work for you and keep them to about a quarter of your plate. And so that's a pretty easy visual guide. Now, when it comes to the healthy fats, when I say kind of use them as a condiment, you know, if you have a nut-based sauce, or if you have some, you know, coconut yogurt or something, or what are some of the things, seeds, nuts, things like that that you could sprinkle on, or if you wanted to have like avocado or olives or anything like that, you know, just have a small condiment size kind of portion of that with your meal, and that will make sure that you're getting all the fat you need for your brain, for all the nerves in your body, for your reproductive system. Eating this fat is not going to turn to fat in your body. That's not how it works. So make sure you get a little bit of fats also. And the fats and the proteins in your meal are really what is going to keep you satiated and keep you full longer, because it takes our bodies longer to break those down. So that's how you can plan your plate without planning your calories. So number 2, eat whole plants. Don't just eat vegan, because vegan does not mean healthy, right? Vegan can mean potato chips, vegan can mean Oreos. Just cutting the animal proteins out of your diet and having something that's vegan is not gonna be healthy for you. And I use the term plant-based because I refer to whole plants, you know, vegetables and things that come from the earth in their natural state. So we wanna eat plant-based. And that is the one thing that all these diets actually have in common, is they're encouraging you to eat more whole foods. And the second thing that all these diets have in common is that you should restrict or, completely eliminate your sugar intake. And this is going to have a huge, huge effect if you can do this one thing. So reducing your sugar intake, 25 grams of sugar is kind of the max that you want to hit for the day. And that is really easy to do if you start looking at, some of the sugary drinks or some of the snacks that are out there, or even yogurts. A lot of the yogurts that they sell as health foods have a lot of added sugar, like 15 grams of sugar in the morning is a lot to have in the morning. That's over half. So you want to always look at the labels, keep your sugar to a minimum. And when I say added sugars, I don't mean fruit, because fruit comes with a whole bunch of fiber. You can still have a couple pieces of fruit, that doesn't count. But look at the added sugars, which are sugar and also things like maple syrup and honey, if you do honey. These obviously have a lot more health benefits because they are from the earth. They have some, additional nutrients and benefits, but they still hit your blood sugar and affect it similarly to sugar. So, you still don't want to have more than 25 grams with those. So like a teaspoon of honey, I think is about 5 grams of sugar. So, if you have 2 teaspoons of honey with your tea in the morning and 2 at night, you're up to 20. So it adds up really fast. So monitoring your sugar intake is going to be huge. So that's number 2. Make sure that you're eating healthy whole plants, not just vegan. So number 3 is basic meal planning and setting up your kitchen for success. And this might sound daunting, but I'm going to break this down into 3 easy parts. It's not that bad. So number 1, do not keep things in the house that do not serve your health goals. So don't keep the cookies and all of the, potato chips and things that are easy to go for. I'm a nutritionist and I don't have emotional eating issues. And if I have some non-dairy ice cream, I'm still gonna go through that thing in like 2 days. So do I do it? Yeah, on occasion I do, but I know that's gonna happen, so I just don't keep it around, and it makes things a lot easier. So set yourself up for success. Don't keep things in the house that you don't want to eat for your health goals. And the second part of this with meal planning, it doesn't have to be this daunting thing. Meal planning can be as simple as if you make a big thing of curry one night, don't make it for just, 1 or 2 or however many you're feeding. Make it for 6 or 8 so that you have a lot of meals later. So if I make curry on Monday night, I make 6 portions so that I have lunches, at least a couple days a week. If you're making anything, just make it in larger quantities. So if you are roasting some vegetables for dinner, which I really like to do, if I'm gonna roast some carrots for dinner one night, I'm like, okay, well, let me chop up some, peppers, and let me chop up some potatoes, and let me make a big thing of rice, and let's just do this all at once, So you just make bigger portions of things. You can eat some of them then, and then you always have easy vegetables, easy grains or potatoes or things like that that are already made. And the same goes with any kind of sauces or soups or anything like that. Just make things in bigger quantities so that you can cook once and eat multiple times. And it works really well too to bring this kind of stuff into the office or into your job so that you're not faced with like, oh, what am I going to eat for lunch? Let's hope I can find a healthy option. Just if you make extra dinner, you can bring that the next day or save it for a couple days later if you don't want it right after. So that is the second part of this. The third part of setting your kitchen up for success and meal planning is keeping good snacks on hand. So you don't find yourself where you're like, I'm starving, I will eat anything. And then you do eat anything, and I have been there. I get hangry. But the best way to do this is to keep some nuts or some seeds or a trail mix that you make on hand. Just have a handful of that. That's going to give you proteins, healthy fats. That's going to keep you satiated. It's also going to keep your blood sugar stable. A couple other snacks like hummus and vegetables is a really good one, and fruits and nut butters. That's another really good one because again, those proteins and fats balance the blood sugar, keep you from having those crazy ups and downs and getting hangry if you're anything like myself. So that is number 3. Okay, so number 4 is move. And I know technically this might not be plant-based, but it is so important to talk about exercise. And the honest truth is that exercise in itself is not gonna make you lose weight. A lot of the studies show that if you're just exercising and you don't change anything about your diet, it's gonna be a really long uphill battle and you're probably not gonna lose that much weight. But movement paired with nutrition is going to be a really, really powerful combination for weight loss and for health in general. Exercise is so important. It's so good for your heart. It's good for your mental health. It's really, really good to help with depression if you can get yourself moving, if you're to that point. It's good on so many levels. But that being said, start where you are. So if you have never exercised in your life, do not think that you can just start running, many times a week, many miles. Maybe you can. Maybe you're amazing and you can. When I started running, I couldn't. So start where you are. If you've never exercised, aim for 3 times a week. That's a good amount to start exercising. Aim for a 20-minute walk a day. And as you get more strength and as you build up, you'll be able to increase that number. So just get some movement in. Start where you are. If you're already ahead of that, then add a little bit more. So that's really important. But one of the other biggest mistakes that I see people make is that they just do a whole bunch of cardio. And they just think that they can run off the calories, right? And run off the fat and burn off the fat. Believe me, I've been there. But honestly, when you do weight training, it is so much more beneficial. So I'm not saying don't do cardio. I'm just saying make sure you incorporate some weight training for a couple reasons. One, if you think about your joints, if you have a lot of extra weight on you, that's a lot of extra pressure on your knees or, on whatever part of the body you're using. And if you can strengthen the muscles that are around those joints, then they're going to be much more capable of handling it. So if you're trying to run or walk for 30 minutes a day, that's a lot of impact, a lot of weight. But if you're doing some muscular training and training those muscles around it, it's going to be able to better support you so that you don't have those pains. So make sure you incorporate some weight training. It's also beneficial because weight, when you're at rest, your muscle will actually burn more calories than fat does. So the more muscle you have on your body, the more efficient your body is going to be when you do work out and when you are eating healthy. So it's really going to stimulate your weight loss. And it sounds counterintuitive, I know. And I want to stress this because this is very personal to me. I trained for a half marathon. I ran the half marathon. I hurt my back really bad. And I ran a lot. And I was in, good shape if I look at myself. But later on when I couldn't run anymore and I had to start doing yoga, and then I started doing more aerial arts, circus kind of stuff, and it became really important to just be strong. And a couple of things happened. One, I stopped caring about that number on the scale because I just wanted to be strong so I could do cool stuff, And then 2, my body just looked so much better, and I was working out way less. When I was running 20 miles a week. That takes a lot of time. When I was doing strength training and this kind of training, I was doing it for half of the time and my body looked way better. So do not discount the importance of weight training, and it can be very, very small. Again, start where you are, start with the smallest weights, just even use your own body weight, but make sure you incorporate weight training and do some kind of movement. So that is number 4. So before we get into number 5, let me know, is any of this resonating with you? How are you feeling? Are you going to incorporate any of this? Drop a line in the comments and let me know. And also as a reminder, do not forget to get your plant-based guide. It is free and it is awesome. Click that below as well. So that brings us to number 5. The number 5 tip I have for losing weight on a mostly plant-based diet is to be realistic with your goals, because I cannot talk about weight loss without talking about mindset. It's so important. So set yourself up for success. Don't say, I'm going to lose 30 pounds this month. There are people that lose an extreme amount of weight, and it may work for you and it may be you, but understand that if you lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, that is amazing. That is awesome. And that is sustainable and a healthy way to do it. So that is a good place to start if you are looking for goals. I like to recommend also don't weigh yourself every day, because we can get really tied to this number and it fluctuates a lot, and it's not really a good indicator when you're doing it every day. So I understand if you're trying to lose a lot of weight that you want to look at that number. So if you're going to do it, maybe wait a week. I like to say wait 2 weeks, so it's a little bit more rewarding when you see that number go down a couple pounds. And then at some point, maybe you don't need that scale anymore. Maybe you can go by how your clothes are fitting. You can go by, if you want to measure yourself, go by measurements, look at photos, go by how you're feeling. And that kind of brings me to my next point, because the mindset around this is don't just have the goal to lose weight. Think about what that weight loss brings you, right? Because honestly, being 180 and saying you weigh 180 or you weigh 150, those are just numbers. That doesn't mean anything. What does mean something is if you're like, when I have less weight, I'm gonna feel better about being in photos. I'm gonna feel more confident. I'm gonna like enjoy wearing clothes more. I'm gonna be able to walk further. I'm going to have better digestion. My skin's gonna clear up. You know, my energy is gonna improve. My sleep's gonna get better. These are all really amazing things, and these are all things that will happen if you stick to your health journey. But you know, if weight loss is the only thing and you're just so tied to that number, like you might get there, but you know, you're not celebrating all the little successes. And we really should celebrate all these things because they're huge. And all of these things that you're doing for yourself are so important and worth celebration. So make sure, number 5, that you are in the right mindset, that you're not weighing yourself every day, and that you're being realistic with your goals. So there you have it. Just like I promised, those are 5 tips to help you lose weight on a plant-based lifestyle, whatever that looks like for you. If you like this video, make sure to hit subscribe so you can be notified when I do more videos like this. And if you want superstar points and to be a really good friend, send this video to somebody that you think might need this message or any of these tips. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nicole Broers. I'm with Dance to the Beat. And remember that being healthy should be fun, sexy, and delicious, just like you.